The state of Virginia just received a $4 million grant from the Attorney General's office to use in training programs for law enforcement officials on mental health awareness. Without proper training, many law enforcement officers face uncertainty when dealing with the mentally ill individuals in the field. In the studio with us today to talk about his experience with these kinds of programs, we have Professor Gregory Hunt. Professor Hunt served as a probation officer for 20 years and as a representative for federal probation officers to the United States Sentencing Commission. Welcome, Professor Hunt. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
So first, I just want to take a look at some of the facts about the Virginia program, the grant and the programs they're going to be doing. In the past, you've worked to create training programs in the field of community corrections. Can you maybe talk about your experience doing that?
Most of the programs I created involved drug treatment and substance abuse, interviewing individuals, making assessments, which included determining whether they have some mental illness issues. And so those are mostly the programs that are preparing individuals who work with offenders in the community and how to deal with them, how to supervise them, how to interact with them.
Interesting. And can you also talk about maybe some specific programs that you worked with that involved mental health training, maybe go into the specifics about what those programs entailed?
One of the biggest problems that you have with working with individuals who are mentally ill is the fact that the workers themselves, the ones who are supervising them, find them difficult to work with because a lot of times you have communication problems. They don't understand what you're talking about. They are unwilling often to take medication, which they should be on. At least in terms of the agency believes they're on because they seem to function better. Actually making an assessment, because you can tell when somebody's psychotic. That's pretty easy to determine. But you have varying degrees of mental illness, and some are not as bad as others. And so making an assessment as to what type of interaction, what kind of treatment that they're going to need. Do they need medication, or is some kind of outpatient treatment be the best for them? Do they need to be inpatient? And so these are determinations that officers and people who work with offenders need to be able to make. And they're often resistant to making those kinds of issues. They're not familiar with working with the mentally ill. The mentally ill often have behavioral problems that some might find disturbing, especially in correctional settings where most correctional officers expect well-behaved individuals who are respectful. You won't find that necessarily with somebody who has some mental illness issues. And so it's getting the officers to be able to understand what they're dealing with,
right,
and how to react with them.
We also have some statistics on the number of sort of mentally ill individuals that are in the jail population in Virginia, which is really a large amount. So one of the main, and one of the main goals of this program is also to reduce violence in the times of crisis. In those police moments where they're maybe chasing a suspect or in a just a moment of crisis. Do you think that programs like this really could help reduce violence?
They're essential. If an officer understands the issues and that they're confronting an individual, and that's basically what a police officer often has to do. I was a former police officer. You're confronting an individual who is acting maybe in a bizarre manner, who may not understand your orders, who may not understand that when you tell them to stop, that they're going to stop. They may be in a frenzy, and you may not understand. You may think they're maybe high on drugs, which is one of the common occurrence because some behaviors of individuals who are mentally ill are similar to drug-induced behaviors. But also many, I should say maybe most, of individuals who are mentally ill who are in the community also medicate themselves by using illicit drugs. So you may be dealing not only with somebody who has mental health issues, but somebody who's also a substance abuser. And so the combination is quite difficult for most officers to understand. And training and understanding, being able to make an assessment of what the problem is, will maybe help reduce the use of violence on the individual, especially today when we have tasers that officers will use to subdue people, that they're able to talk them down and not immediately assume some sort of violent interaction, confrontation with them.
Great. Thank you, Professor Hunt, for being here today. And that's all we have for District Wire News. I'm Joni Agronin. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.